Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jag from Jaggy Sports. It is April the 14th, 2022. Breaking news. Watching Get Up this morning, and Brian Windhorst basically said Ben Simmons will return as early as Game 4, but the targeted dates are Games 4, 5, 6 of the Boston-Brooklyn series. That is the breaking news. Ben Simmons will make his return. First time in the season, so he'll make his debut as a Nets player, and his minutes will be restricted. But that's a tough task if you're going to implement this guy into an actual playoff series. My question is, do you guys think that Ben Simmons is necessary to beat the Boston Celtics? I don't think they should. And watch this clip, because the thing is, Tim Legler and Jay will basically break it down for you, saying that it's a tough task to implement this kid when he hasn't played any games. So that's my take on it. Watch this clip and we'll review it after.
Yeah, I can't even believe it, to be honest with you, Ryan, but I am told that they are targeting games 4, 5, or 6 of this upcoming series against the Celtics for a Ben Simmons debut with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, as soon as I heard that, I said, is he even playing 5-on-5 yet? The answer is no, but they're hoping to ramp him up in the next few days, and if there's no setbacks, they are expecting that Ben Simmons will be available at some point in this series.
What do you make of that? I mean, he hasn't played in almost a year, and they're going to throw him in this series.
Yeah, you inject him in the middle of the most pressure-packed games, when the games are most physical, most at stake, most scrutiny, for sure. But look, he is a guy that doesn't need to find offensive rhythm, and that's why something like this could be possible. You're not worried about a guy that's going to ISO a lot. He's not a high-volume shot taker. He won't dominate the ball. He can make plays in the open floor, but for the most part, he'll be off the ball in their offense. His real impact comes on the other end. You're talking about injecting one of the top defensive players in the league at 6'10" to have to guard long wings like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown potentially in this series. That's where his true benefit comes. But it is amazing, because you think a guy that last time we saw Ben Simmons was a complete meltdown against the Atlanta Hawks offensively in that series as a 1 seed in Philadelphia. And we've been waiting ever since to see him make a reemergence. I expected it to be next year like most people. So this is pretty incredible news. And he can have an impact in this series and then going forward if they're able to advance.
Okay, because that's interesting, because Wendy, I look at it also this way. We talked about what happened last year, the mental health struggles he had been through since then, and now you're putting him in with a team that he's never played for after he hasn't been on the court for almost a year, and you're asking him, get in there, make an impact, and stop one of the most powerful offenses and powerful offensive players in Jason Tatum. Are they setting him up to fail?
Ryan, it really depends on, what their role is. I don't think he's going to be able to physically play a lot of minutes. And when you look at the Nets, what's holding them back to really being a serious contender, in my view, is they're a bottom 10 defensive team. And even against the Cavs in the playing game the other night, Kyrie was as hot as you could ever see a player. Durant was hitting shots, and it was a 6-point game with a few minutes to go because they can't get stops consistently. So you get him to play a handful of minutes, get a handful more stops, it really could shift the balance of a power in a series. And I will just say this. I have been hearing nothing but pessimism about Ben Simmons' availability now for 2 months, really ever since shortly after the trade. This is the first time I'm hearing optimism, and I think that's notable.
Wow, that is, because all of his pessimism, all of us thought he wouldn't play, and now it looks like he could be in as soon as Game 4. So, Legs, I know you had the Celtics win in this series. Does this change that? Because Wendy's talking about the balance of power could shift.
No, not for me. I don't think it shifts it enough, because I just don't see him playing enough minutes to sway the series. He can have moments where he guards guys effectively. I think offensively he's going to be a liability. And if I'm Ime Udoka and Ben Simmons is on the court and they're anywhere near the penalty, guess what? He's taking a parade to the foul line because he hasn't played in 10 months. It's a weakness in his game. He's got confidence issues as it is. Now, I'm not saying you start fouling guys because now you can't guard Kevin Durant and Kyrie either. I'm saying, though, if he's on the floor and you get to that fourth foul, that fifth foul in a quarter, I am doing nothing but sending Ben Simmons to the foul line because it takes the ball out of Kyrie's hands and KD's hands and disrupts the flow of their offense by putting a guy that hasn't played in 10 months and already struggles from that line. So it'd be an interesting dynamic in terms of the strategy involved. I don't think it sways it enough for me. I'm not forgetting what Boston has done. 26-6 in their last 32. Top defensive team in the league for 2 months, and Tatum and Brown rolling together at the same time like they have never at any.
I personally don't think that they should implement him because a guy like that needs the ball in his hands. And then again, so does Kyrie. So how are you going to stick this guy into a playoff series against an elite team? But then again, Robert Williams is out. So are they really, really elite like they were about a month and a half ago? Like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart are phenomenal, but I think Bruce Brown off the Nets said it best, saying that, hey, Robert Williams is out, so they're going to attack the paint. I think the biggest key factor in this entire series is Andre Drummond, because who's going to stop Andre Drummond? Al Horford? Daniel Theis? I don't know. I don't think so. It's the biggest key factor in this is guaranteed Andre Drummond. Tell me what you guys think. Do the Nets actually need Ben Simmons in this series? And to be honest with you, the way they're playing, they're like phenomenal in the Cavs series. But then again, they made a good point, meaning that they play no defense and they suck in defense. That's why they're bringing Ben Simmons on board. Again, breaking news, he will make his return as early as Game 4, but the target dates are Games 4, 5, and 6. This is Jag from Jaggy Sports.